I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard. And make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
if Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Today we are talking about Zack Snyder confirming that his next project is The Fountainhead.
Woo! That's what I want to see, some slow motion architecture. Yeah. Give it to me.
Riveting.
Give it to me. Give it to me nice and slow. So it's actually confirmed for the most part. He actually confirmed himself, Zack Snyder, for once. People are not going off necessarily the fact that he just liked a post. He actually said something back to somebody and answered a question that wasn't involved with his movies that he's already made. It's about his future, and The Fountainhead is his next project, which is very interesting because Warner Brothers actually holds the rights to the Ayn Rand, I guess, library for the most part, like production elements of it. And so it seems like to me, if he was fired, they're still working together.
Which that also somewhat confirms our theory as far as why he's being so political and not actually coming out and saying, yeah, you know, here's why I can't release my cut of Justice League. He's kind of staying in the shadows with it because he might be working with Warner Brothers on this one, so he doesn't want to burn that bridge.
Maybe this movie's got to make the money to finish Justice League. So go see The Fountainhead when it comes out. God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, where this started from was Zack Snyder posted a picture of it looks like a warehouse on Vero, and he says, the parking lot in the back of my badminton club in Southern California, or ... Then within the comments, Supersonic34 says, hello, I have a question. What is your next project? I don't think you'll just continue
it's project.
Yeah.
But the C's on the wrong side.
Project. Or
I shouldn't be talking shit about people with typos. I typo so fucking much.
I do too. And then he says, I don't think you'll just continue to post your opinions the rest of your life. He means life. I am really interested. And then Zack Snyder, basically, super simplistic comment, says, at Supersonic34, Fountainhead.
Interesting little choice here, Fountainhead. So this has been rumored for a while, that he's been wanting to work on the project for the Fountainhead. Snyder, who can't make a movie less than 3 hours long, for the most part, is gonna try to bring a film adaptation of a 704-page book. I'm actually looking at my copy right now of the Fountainhead. I don't know how that's gonna work. I know with the Atlas Shrugged movies that they did, they broke them up in parts. And I don't even think they finished a lot of them, to be honest. I think they actually shit out on part 2 or 3. I can't remember because they weren't making enough money.
So the Fountainhead was actually made into a movie back in 1949 as well. So maybe he's gonna just include a little bit more into that is kind of my guess. I'm curious who actually is going to be doing the screenplay for this.
And, you know, it's also updating it too. I mean, to this time frame and shit. I mean, he could leave it. The book was published in 1943, so it's set in that time frame. Like with Atlas Shrugged, it was set in a time frame where like trains were a big deal. Well, in the movies and those movie adaptations, what they did was actually projected into the future, where all types of transportation have failed except for trains. That's what they did in the movie. So I'm curious if this is actually going to be brought into our time frame, he's going to try to adapt it in that manner, or is it actually going to be based back in the day in the 1940s? So that's going to be kind of interesting as well. So the Fountainhead, Ayn Rand, is a famous Russian author. She was a notorious atheist. She is huge into libertarianism, if that's even a correct phrasing of that, libertarianism, something like that. And she's kind of like the queen of that. And let's just say in like Hollywood in general and in the news media, she's not favored too much in the eyes of them. Her philosophy, for the most part, is definitely not the Hollywood way in a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly. So in addition to articles basically comparing the fact that The Fountainhead is a favorite book of Donald Trump, who's the other one? Paul Ryan?
Yep.
Paul Ryan, so some conservatives, they're, throwing Zack Snyder's name out there as well. There have been some other people, and I'm taking these screenshots from DC Squad on Instagram, or I'm reading these screenshots, but it really kind of says why Snyder has been alienated to some regard. So David Roberts on Twitter says, the perfect marriage of douche and douche enabler. The Fountainhead is second only to Atlas Shrugged, and the number of douches it has armed with theories for why being a douche is actually superior. Ashley Lynch says, hot take for all the Zack Snyder stans who are totally name searching like that's not creepy. If you were real fans, the last thing you'd want is for him to adapt the Fountainhead. It's a guaranteed financial disaster. Chris Hewitt says, everyone's pointing and laughing at Zack Snyder because he's adapting the Fountainhead when they really should be pointing and laughing at him because he's still using Vero. Vero is actually a kind of an up-and-coming social media, you fucking prick. Proxima Midnight says, Zack Snyder is a worse director than Michael Bay. Don't at me.
The fuck you talking about?
And that's just some kind of couple different people. All of those are verified on Twitter as well. So it's not like these are just coming from Joe Schmoes. I'm assuming they're probably in the movie business somehow, probably vloggers or bloggers, and think that they're fucking important. Exactly.
Yeah, some form of media. Again, we don't ever get really political on this show at all. That's not what this is about. We're movie marks, not political marks in any manner. But you could kind of say a majority of media, for the most part, is liberal for the most part. And and so you could see this reaction they're having to the fact that this book is going to be have an adaptation now by Zack Snyder. And, obviously to them, to these people in general, comparing or saying the fact that Trump likes the book is to them a ploy of talking down to the situation. Like if the president likes it, you could see where this book is rated at in their eyes. Obviously, the things that Shane just read, Ayn Rand, like I said, is not popular within Hollywood at all. She is about her philosophies for the most part is about as anti-Hollywood as it could possibly get. Her outlook on altruism and shit like that is definitely against a lot of what people think in Hollywood. So for him to take on this adaptation kind of, one, is a little surprising because he's got to know what the backlash is going to be of this. And the fact that he's in so much the limelight lately for just no reason at all, other than the fact that he was part of one of the biggest studio, I don't want to say flops, but studio uproars of the last year or so. It's kind of weird that he's taken on this project because there's, like what Shane just read, these people are not even giving it a chance. They don't even know how he might adaptate it. You don't even know how he might change things up for the fact he could just use the names. He could completely change the story and they don't even know that they're already talking shit. I mean, he could just have a guy named Howard Rourke and he may not even be an architect. Fuck. They could change that up for all we know. But they're already shitting on it just because it's Snyder plus Ayn Rand equals douche, apparently, according to that one guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I love the fact, again, the lack of open-mindedness, if that's even a word, like you said, you don't know how he's going to take this. You don't know what his thoughts are in regarding this book. I mean, he may not like it. He may be a super liberal who's like, oh, I'm going to try to adapt this so that I can tear this philosophy down. We don't know. I mean, we can kind of guess, but it's kind of, it again blows my mind that people, instead of just waiting to see, they're automatically saying, oh no, that's a hot piece of garbage. You can still be intrigued by someone's thought process without actually agreeing with it. Exactly. That's about being open-minded. Matt and I did a comparison probably about a year ago,
roughly,
that included the Fountainhead. Yeah. So I actually didn't read the full book. I read the cliff notes of it, and I may not agree with everything, but it intrigued me of why someone would think a certain way. It's intriguing. So you don't have to agree with it just for him to want to adapt it to a film. And it's obviously something that's been on his docket for a while that he's been wanting to move forward with. It sounds like he's finally like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward with it. And it sounds like he's truly living by never compromise, even in the face of Armageddon, because he's basically like, I do not fucking care at this point of the backlash, because I agree, he has to know, and maybe he just doesn't care.
Never compromise. Not even in the face of Armageddon.
The passion, which is great, which even, makes me like him even more. He has passion for this shit. He knows what can happen, and he knows what's probably going to happen. I don't know. This is going to be really, I'm just so curious on how he's going to do this. The adaptation is just going to be, it's going to be fascinating to see how he does this. Like, I don't know how much he's going to change. It's actually been a little bit since I've actually read the full book. I think a couple years ago is like the last time I actually really went through it. If the fact that he's working with WB should also, if it for sure this is actually going through WB in most part, whatever one of his other smaller studios that WB owns and shit like that, or he might just be going straight through his production company, and maybe it's just a small project. Maybe he'll shoot it all with an iPhone again, something to that effect. So let us know in the comments what you think about Zack Snyder making an adaptation of The Fountainhead. Have you read The Fountainhead? Do you like The Fountainhead? Do you like Ayn Rand? Do you think she's a douche? Whatever the hell that one guy was saying before. Was she a douche before a douche? I don't know. Was she the original douche? Who knows? Let us know in the comments in case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. All these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.